In 1996, Seventh-day Adventists around the world gave their 13th Sabbath offerings to help build a multipurpose and classroom building at the Adventist Seminary of West Africa, known today as Babcock University.
I tell you, we had only very few classrooms to have our students, but with that coming in, we were able to increase the classroom space and create office spaces for our teachers.
In those days, there were fewer than 500 students and 29 teachers.
I think that was the beginning of the greater blessings that came, that you can now see everywhere in the university, that everywhere is filled with buildings.
Today, there are more than 8,000 students attending Babcock University.
Just with that seed, we have been able to go a long mile.
The university is named after David Babcock, who was a pioneer Adventist missionary in West Africa, and it is an important part of the church's mission to provide a quality education to the people of this division.
Nigeria here received the message in 1914 with Pastor Babcock, who left Sierra Leone and brought the message here. We are told by our seniors that Babcock, there was a piece of land that was sold in Sierra Leone. He took the money and came here to start the work.
Welcome to the West Central Africa region. If you look at a map of the African continent and find the Sahara Desert, you will find below it most of the territory known as the West Central Africa Division. The West Central Africa Division territory stretches from Cape Verde to Congo-Brazzaville and from Senegal to the Central African Republic. Countries in this division include Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon, as well as Burkina Faso, Mauritania, and Mali. The rich history of this area has made it one of the most culturally diverse regions of the world. Originally home to African tribal and language groups, it was influenced by traders and settlers from the north, coming from as far away as Constantinople, known today as Istanbul, Turkey. Later Europeans colonized this territory. The British, French, Germans, and Portuguese all left their mark. Today, you can see how the religious landscape of this territory has been shaped by history, with a strong Muslim presence in the north and a mix of traditional African religions and Christianity in the south. This is a challenging region for the Adventist Church. Yet despite the challenges, the Adventist Church is growing. Today, there are some 866,000 Seventh-day Adventists worshiping in nearly 3,500 churches. Yet with a population of more than 360 million, there is still much to be done.
The challenges are many. We don't want to call them problems, we call them challenges because we see in them an opportunity for God to manifest His glory. So those challenges are rather opportunities.
No matter what you call them, they make sharing the gospel more difficult. Many areas of the world face challenges, but one challenge they face here is impacted by geography and climate.
This part is dominantly covered by Sahara Desert, and therefore you have what I call physical or environmental challenge. You have a lot of, drought here because it doesn't rain much.
The lack of rain brings unique challenges to a church that baptizes by immersion. In some areas, there is not enough water to hold a baptism until the rains come.
It's very difficult to take care of the people because sometimes they have drought and they can't harvest any crop, and you have to minister to them. And when it starts raining, it rains more than enough, so you have flooding. So the little that they have grown got devastated by flood.
The environment isn't the only challenge. Christians are a minority here.
Muslims constitute 50% of the population, and the African traditional religions, they constitute about 20% of the population. So you can see that already we have 70%, or people who don't know anything about Jesus at all.
Although only about 20% of the population practices traditional African religions, its influence is still very much a part of the culture. Many Christians and Muslims still follow some of the practices of the African religions. Because Christianity is a minority religion, public evangelism is not welcome in many communities. Recognizing how daunting the challenges are, Adventist leaders in West Africa decided to place it in God's hands.
So we took God to task, praying and telling God, you said it, and we know that you are faithful. We know that when you say it, you will make it happen. Honor your word. Make it happen. And we have witnessed some wonderful changes in this division.
For years, the Adventist Church has reached out to people in the community through health education and by providing a quality education. In many areas, the only contact people have with Adventists is through these two avenues. Today, we will focus on two countries where the Church is working to provide a quality education through new schools: Benin and Senegal. The country of Senegal on the western coast of Africa has the westernmost point on the African continent, and the capital Dakar is the westernmost city. This French-speaking country has a population of some 13.3 million people. More than 90% of the population is Muslim, with about 5% of the population being Christian. Like many countries today, the population is increasingly becoming urban. In Senegal, more than 42% of the population lives in cities, and urban population is growing each year. There are about 500 Seventh-day Adventists who gather each week in 6 churches and 2 companies. Like most Adventist churches in Africa, as you leave, you'll greet everyone who left before you and be greeted by everyone who comes out after you. Education is important and needed here. Only about half the population above the age of 15 can read and write. So Adventist schools that offer an opportunity for students to get a good education in a nice environment are attractive to many parents. Along the coast, fishing is an important source of food and income for some, and colorful boats are a familiar sight along the coast. The country of Benin is sandwiched between Nigeria on the east and Togo on the west. Some 9.8 million people live here. There are some 5,400 Seventh-day Adventists who gather each Sabbath to meet in one of the 43 companies and 16 churches, like this one in Parakou, a city of some 180,000 people in eastern Benin. It's an important market town and is the last stop on the railway line to Cotonou, the country's capital. French is the official language of Benin, and motorcycles are the primary means of transportation for many people, at least on land. When waterways are available, boats are an important means of transportation. Although some 42% of people in Benin are Christian, there are about 17% who practice voodoo, the traditional African religion. Depending on where you are from, the everyday things people do may be familiar, or they may be different from the way you do things. Everyday things like shopping, filling the car with gas or petrol, and preparing your food. We hope you have enjoyed visiting the West Central Africa Division and learning about the challenges and seeing how God has blessed. Thank you for your support of mission in West Central Africa and around the world. Please pray for the people here and for the mission challenges that still exist in this corner of Africa.
But we think that in God's appropriate time, He will give us the key to unlock that door, and we will enter with the gospel.